Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scorbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center, Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is June 29th. It's a Thursday, and the moon is in Scorpio yet again. The Scorpio moon, of course, is a rather intense moon, and one in which we're willing to face some pretty brave things. Scorpio is not afraid of digging deep to get the answers, to find out the reasons why. So today we have a lovely trine between Venus, which is in Leo, trining Chiron. The interesting thing about this trine to Chiron is it's the first of three, and that's because Venus is going to have a retrograde period, and the retrograde goes back to like 13 degrees, I think, of Leo. So it's going to go over this Chiron at least, 3 times. So what's the trine to Chiron ask us to do? Well, it kind of asks us to like ourselves, to come to terms with that. Now, you might say, Venus and Leo, don't they really, really like themselves? Well, there's liking yourself and really liking yourself. And then there's acting as if you're the cat's pajamas and nobody's better than you, which really comes from a place of insecurity, not a place of security. So when I talk about loving yourself, I'm talking about loving yourself from a place of deep love for the fact that you're alive and that you are who you are. You know, Chiron in Aries has been teaching us that we have the right to be who we are. And, you know, as long as we're decent people, right? I mean, and what I mean by decent, you know, not like wanting to hurt other people, you know, doing what you do and not hurting other people in the process. And yet there are plenty of people out there who love to point their fingers and say, you're this and you're that, and you shouldn't be this and you shouldn't be that. I say, don't have people shit on you, and certainly, of all things, don't shit on yourself. We also have the moon in Scorpio make a square to Venus. It's a first quarter crisis and action square, so we're going to want to take some actions on what's important to us. And the moon makes an opposition to Uranus, as it does every time it moves into Scorpio, because Uranus is in Taurus now and stays there for 7 years. So it's about a third of the way through Taurus now. So we still have another third of the way, a third of 7 years, whatever that figures out to be. Don't ask me. I can't do math in my head. And then we also have Mercury, the planet of the mind, making a semi-square, which is sort of a square and a half, as it were, to Uranus. And they have a special relationship because Mercury is the planet of the mind. It's mental. It's how we take information in. And Uranus is also a mental planet. But sometimes it's like, it almost feels like you're crazy with Uranus, because you get all these visions and you get all this information and you get all these like pieces and parts of something, and it's really hard to make sense of it. And so you'll have time to make sense of it, because in a couple of days, Mercury is going to make a trine to Saturn, and Saturn usually straightens everything out. And so you'll know better what all this information coming in means. And I can use the example of what's going on in Russia. Like, what's really going on? We're getting all this weird information, but what's really the story? Or maybe the information coming through to Jack Smith as he talks to people like Rudy Giuliani and Mark Meadows and all these other people. Also, we could look at, you know, we're gonna get some information from some people that we have been wanting to hear about. Jim Jordan, and this is no Benghazi stuff. This is no made up stuff. This, in fact, is going to be a thing. So there's plenty of information around. So be patient with yourself with that. And it will all make sense at some point. And at least I'm hoping. So, look what we have. Daylilies are opening. I love these daylilies. These are like some of my favorites. And these used to be at my house, at the house I lived in. I shouldn't say my house because I rented. Down when I lived on the Cape, right by the canal. And I loved them so much, I asked the landlord, can I take a couple? And of course, they were very gracious about that. And I took a couple and I brought them here. So they've been with me for 30 years, maybe? Yeah, something like that. All right, so that's what's going on. That's the story, Morning Glories. You have a beautiful day today, a little overcast. I know a lot of guys are suffering with awful heat. We have been pretty lucky. We've had a couple of hot days, muggy, but it's been the weather's been so changeable that it hasn't really stayed. And this morning it's kind of cool, but it is kind of muggy. So once the cloud cover and the fog or the smoke or whatever the hell's up there goes away, I think it's going to heat up quite a bit. Today's job is to plant. We plant when the moon's in Scorpio. It's one of the most productive and fertile moons. We were going to do it yesterday, but it rained like cray-cray, so you can't plant when the dirt is wet because it messes up the structure of the dirt, which is really what you need, the aeration and all that stuff. So, but I will show you tomorrow if it actually doesn't rain on us today. I'll show you all the things we've done, hopefully. All right, so have yourself a wonderful day. Like and subscribe. Like yourself, love yourself from a real, genuine place of love, and love one another. If you want to check out, I'm doing a moonshine episode with Ona tomorrow, Friday, for full moon in oh my God, it's Capricorn. That's happening on the 3rd, which is Monday. And my birthday. Thank you very much for all your birthday wishes. And last time I looked, I need, I think, 8 more or 18 more subscribers. Or maybe 6 more. Well, anyway, whatever it is, for 10,000, it's a great birthday present for me. Thank you. I know you guys love me. Thank you for all your comments. I know many of you have been watching me. And it's for a couple of years now. It's really great getting to meet you because many of you now are getting readings with me. And it's so much fun to finally get to, for me to hear your voice for a change. All right, guys, take care. Much love. Namaste.